Good afternoon, guys. Firstly, I need to apologise. It is actually the 1st of January and not the 31st, and I had hoped to get this up yesterday evening, but unfortunately time ran away with me, and by about 9 o'clock I was really involved with a really cool docu on Frank Sinatra and the Rat Pack, so sorry, but I'm here today. So I just wanted to basically give you a really brief synopsis, because astrology is not my main domain. I'm more mediumistic. I work with the spirit world when I'm working for client, and of course tarot and the imagery on the tarot is my thing, but the astrology is a personal thing for me. I love it, and I'm hoping to get a little bit more study done, certainly with this Jupiter shift that's coming along. We are going to talk about that. So I'm just going to pop my notes up, guys, and we're going to go with it. And I'm going to have to move them all the way back to the top because I've just been reading through. So just bear with me a second. Right, we're back. So there is going to be, it's a bit mediocre, I think. It's a bit sort of slow, a little bit in and out for the first half of the year. There is certainly going to be some strong movement, and there is strong movement on a planetary level throughout 2023, although not all of us, we're not going to feel it too much because a lot of this is happening in the outer. More personal planets tend to give us a little bit more, and we feel that a little bit more. So I think that the big stuff is going to come from about June, July onwards. That's my personal belief anyway, and again, everybody's different. So Mercury is retrograde in Capricorn until the 12th of Jan, and then he's going to move into very transformational Aquarius. All right, so yeah, I have to be honest with you, Mercury, don't forget, he is the messenger information. We've had Mars in Gemini, and I'll talk about him in a minute. So there's been a lot of information coming over this year certainly, but we've had a lot of it. All right, with Mars in Gemini, because it has been quite a strong and long transit. Okay, I'm going to talk about him in a minute. So yeah, it is going to move into Mercury is going to move into Aquarius on the 12th of Jan, so that's good. So expect a few more shocks and surprises. It may be personal, it may be in the outer world, but either way we're going to get them. We also need to watch out for news, in the tech world. That's something else I'm going to be chatting to you about. But it is about really getting real now, I think. And also, I think certainly with the Mercury energies and a lot of Aquarius in the sky now with Uranus, as well being in Taurus. Taurus, of course, is a Venus-ruled energy. So yeah, I think it's about getting real and allowing your originality to shine through, particularly so if you're looking for career shifts, relationships, health expectations, any new study areas. I'm going to talk to you about Jupiter, but we are definitely breaking away from the same old scenarios. So it is about detaching from limiting scenarios, particularly so with this Mercury energy. Mercury, of course, does its 6-week thing. So Mercury, is key because he is a personal planet. So let's wait and see what's happening there with that. So we have got this detachment from anything that's limiting as far as life or situations concerned. A finality, I think, also with that. So there is quite revolutionary energy coming with that, just that little shift really, so mid-January. But the big stuff I am convinced is going to come towards I think it's going to be towards the end of the year, i.e. from the latter half of the year, certainly. So Mars is still retrograde in Gemini. We've had an awful lot of communication coming in, haven't we, with this. He is still retrograde in Gemini until January the 18th, and he is back and he's moving direct in Cancer the 26th of March. Now, both Mercury and Mars, being these personal planets, their energies are more strongly felt for us natives, right? So there's also going to be a lot of water and a lot of earth in the sky this year, an awful lot of that. And I do think that even though we have got this sort of fairly, we've got a lot of water up there, I think the earth is sort of going to cause a few muddy patches. So yeah, it's going to be a little bit slower to get through, guys. But from May to June, yeah, I'm going to say things will tend to speed up. So with this Mars in Gemini energy, it has been especially in wrong transit really, but Mars, as I said, is going to station direct in Cancer on the 26th of March. Now, with Mars in Cancer, um, fully, uh, and in there till about May the 20th, by the way. It's a very emotional and very subjective energy with Mars in Cancer, Cancerian energy, obviously. And it's, on one level, it's very self-nurturing, but on others, it can trigger real vulnerabilities. All right. And what comes from that, we can get these really strong protective feelings that could actually get quite heated on occasion. Now, if you step outside your front door with that, and we go into the collective, you can see where I'm going with that energy. You know, um, we don't live in that. We don't live indoors all the time anymore. Thank God. We certainly don't in the UK, guys. So if you are listening to me from us, or particularly Queensland, God bless you, or the US, I have a lot of clients in the US. You're dealing with a very different animal at the moment, whereas here in the UK we are much freer with regards to what's happening. We've still got a fair bit of work to do, but we are on it. So yeah, moving into Cancer Mars until that 20th of May. It can be a little bit sticky, but I do feel, again, let's just hang on to where we're going, hang on to what we've got on one level. All right, so it can trigger these sort of feelings of protectiveness, and it can get a little bit blustery. All right, particularly so, of course, because Saturn is going to be moving into Pisces, because there's a lot of water, so it's going to be interesting. So Mars finally moves into Leo on the 20th of May for good, right? So he's in there, so that's good. Now let's talk about Saturn moving into Pisces. He moves into Pisces early March, and he goes retrograde mid-June. Moves direct in Pisces around the 24th of May this year until February 26th, right? Mars is Saturn's quite a long transit, about 2.5 years. So February 26th, so he's going to be in there in Pisces. And I think it's going to be interesting. It's obviously, Pisces is very spiritual energy. It's the other world. It's the well, I don't see it as the other world. I see it as the world. That's the world. That's the real world. I see this as the unreal world. I see Saturn energy, as the unreal world, Earth energy. But Saturn is going to move into Pisces early March. He does go retrograde mid-June, moves direct in Pisces on the 24th of May, and he is there until February 26th. So I do think it's a good time. I think there's a lot of sensitivity. Certainly, again, very free-flowing. So let's hope that we get some movement as far as governmental situations of control, all this sort of thing. So we need to watch that. Sensitive Venus, she moves really quickly through each sign, very, very quickly, about every 23 days, a bit like the moon. So, as the moon is crossing different planets in your chart, you're going to have these different feelings and sensations, but, Venus does that, moves very quickly, every 23 days through each sign. So for instance, when she was in Gemini, lots of communication, lots of intellectual exchange going on at the time. She's now going to be moving out of this Capricorn energy, so it is going to be interesting. Venus is also going to be in opposition to Pluto for a quickie, and that makes for a lot of deep examination of relationships and our desires and our values, lots of things. I also feel there could be quite a few fated connections coming around, guys. So it could be interesting about all you lovers out there, or just something that comes out of the blue. I'm feeling with that. Faces from the past, maybe, just for a brief period of time there. So let's watch out for that and see who pops back in, maybe, or we just turn a corner one day and wow, there it is. So yeah, fated, all right, right place, right time sort of energy. So Jupiter is going to leave Aries for Taurus mid-May, and I'm personally quite pleased about this. Beneficial energies, expansion of the mind, of the body, health, fitness, home, natural ways of living, but bearing in mind in Taurus, which Taurus of course is money and systems, money systems as well. It's particularly so because we've still got Pluto up there for a while in Capricorn, laying down the law there. So we need to keep an eye on that, and we know that they're pushing towards the digital systems. Again, this is all tech, it's all Aquarian energy, but we do need to be a bit careful here. So yeah, leaving Aries for Taurus mid-May, beneficial, certainly. Expansion of the mind, as I said, if you need to get something sorted, if you want to move house, for instance, there's going to be lots of growth. But whatever it's about, natural way of doing things, freedom from, fill in the blank there, guys. So, we also need to watch for the excessive on all levels as well, because although Jupiter is a great energy and it helps with expanding and making better, it can also exaggerate a situation. So if you're in a little bit of if you're having a moment and Jupiter happens to be bouncing around your chart or your partner's chart, it can become quite exaggerated. We can go a little bit over the top, as we Brits say. So yeah, so it can be a little bit excessive on all levels, but we all should keep an eye on that law litigation. All right, and let's see about the excesses there. As I said earlier, we are in Britain, and I'm happy to be back in Britain, in as much as, I have a lot more freedom, and, there's a lot more happening here. Okay, so more ability to travel, that's a question mark. Okay, location shifts, house moves, higher learning, and high living in a way, but we do need to be careful a little bit, as I said, with Uranus in Taurus, now moving direct, because there could be some issues there. So Uranus in Taurus is continuing certainly to transform personal friendships. We've all recognised that our value systems may have shifted a little bit, the way we viewed things, certainly different perspectives, the objectivity that Uranian energy can often bring. That's Aquarius in its nature, of course. So we can expect some disruptions here and there, though, because it's not going to be all sweetness and light for sure with Uranus in Taurus, despite it being a Venusian energy, Taurus. So bank balance is survival, guys, very important. And Uranus, chaos, it can talk about bankruptcies, it can talk about business losses, it can also talk about another way of doing business, which I'm going to talk to you about a little bit later on in a minute. So we can expect some disruption here and there, but maybe we're going to be joining with groups of like-minded people, right, and detaching from people that no longer we feel that are going to ultimately benefit our evolutionary growth. Yeah, so nobody likes to say goodbye unless it's through loss, the soul leaving the planet. None of us like that, but I feel that this is a time when a lot of us are going to be doing that. So we're growing away from old patterns. If you need to take time out on your own, and you'd rather be alone, that's good. And I also feel with the Saturn in Pisces energy, of course, Pisces, the other worldly energy, Pisces spiritual energy, it may well be that's and again, being a group of one within the spiritual world, and a lot of meditation. A lot of people are beginning to meditate, a lot of people are seeking out, I think with Saturn again, and Jupiter, shamanism, that's going to be something that's growing, particularly, of course, because we still got the energy of Neptune in Pisces still sitting on his own throne for a good while longer. So Uranus, we know, he's an outer planet. I do think it's going to be an upsurge in populism. Hopefully not too right wing, but I do think that the politics and everything that's happening, it's very much about revolution. There is revolution in the air this year for sure, but revolutionising energy. So we've got to watch for expansion in the tech. That's coming. But again, very interesting, wasn't it, that Switzerland have said, because of the energy crisis, you can't use your cars, you can't charge your cars. Their narrative is falling apart now as far as the the zero carbon is concerned. So this is a good one. It's a good one. So I think people are becoming more informed. They're informing themselves, so that's good. So we do need to look at that expansion of the tech world. I've also been seeing an awful lot of companies asking you to upgrade your tech. I think you should maybe take a moment to think about that, guys. But hey, that's my opinion, only mine. So excessive AI is definitely, I think, being applied disproportionately in some instances. So we do need to safeguard against that. Neptune, as I said, in Pisces, unfettered energy, water, so there's got to be a lot of that around. I think it's probably rained in the UK since I came home in June. I think it's never stopped raining. I think I had about a week or two when I came back at the end of June. So yeah, the house of spirituality. But again, coming back into this giving of the self to others that are not deserving of it. So we need to watch for that as well. We've got a nodal shift coming, guys, mid-July. This, I feel, again, this is my sort of retaliatory sort of energy. I'm born with it, can't help it. Sorry. This nodal shift mid-July into the signs of Libra and Aries is going to be interesting. You know, we've got Mars and we've got Venus with those energies, Aries, and of course Libra, which is Venus ruled. So we've got Mars, the mighty warrior, and we've also got Venus, the peacemaker. So, you know, cut that down, war, peace, you know, where's it going, you know? And I'm hoping that with Uranus in Taurus and Jupiter certainly moving into the Taurus, a more loving sort of let's try and find some peace somewhere. All right, so, you know, if this has got anything to do with the proxy wars that are being manufactured all over the world, sadly, dare I say it, we're paying for it. You know, that's something that I think is going to start to open up as well. So I think that's a good thing. So we've got the solar eclipses, guys. It's going to be interesting as well. That's the 14th of October and the 28th of October. Solar eclipses with the North Node, Aries, South Node, Libra. I do think this is really going to shake things up with these eclipses as well. Eclipses, these events are producing powerful change, and bearing in mind, again, when we've got eclipses, we've got high tides, we've got all this water in the sky. So yeah, climatically, we can expect a few big ones, I think. All right, so yeah, again, that little worry is Mars the warrior and Venus the peacemaker. I do hope we can find a positive result, and I think that applies personally as well. You know, let's try and build bridges if we can. But as I said earlier, if we do need to detach from a situation that is no longer serving our evolutionary journey, our soul journeys, then it will end. That's it. Now, Pluto does leave Capricorn for Aquarius on March 23rd until around June the 11th. Now, Pluto for me is really important, and I know in the US they're ramping it up because Pluto comes back. It's a Pluto return from their Independence Day when the US was created. So this is, you know, it takes about, I think it's 184 years to go all the way around. So yeah. Could be a bit more than that. I've got that right. Sorry guys, not quite sure with the thing today. I'm just going to have another sip of my coffee. So Pluto does leave Capricorn for Aquarius on March 23rd until around June the 11th. And he slips back into in and out of Capricorn and Aquarius throughout 2023 into 2024, and his final visit in Capricorn, the law, the sheriff, so to speak, is March the 8th, 2024. From then he's going to transit in Aquarius fully, and he's going to be there for the next 20 years. Okay, so 2043. You know, Pluto, this is a generational thing, and when I'm working with you guys, I look at you and I see where your Pluto is. I see that generation, you Scorpio gang, you know, you little eco warriors, you Sagittarius souls, you know, so it is generational stuff, and it is of key importance for humanity as a whole. You know, we should remember that. Pluto, for me, is the soul in man, and there has definitely been corruption, Pluto, dark, you know, as far as man-made corruption is. The soul's not corrupt. It's, you know, it's the reality at the end of the day. I don't believe that a soul, I think that there is evil in the world, certainly, and I think we're fighting it now. But, you know, we are all born free and equal, guys. So, yeah, Pluto's been in Capricorn. since 2008, and we all remember well that period. Um, you know, yeah, financial crashes, mass unemployment, quakes, cyclones. Yeah, it's pretty bad. I think, yeah, first man of colour, yeah, Obama, he was elected the US president. We had Boris, he got the mayor of London, and then went on with his political, agendas. Now left us. Hopefully he's not going to come back, but that's actually interesting because I'm going to talk to you about something else, about these fated connections coming back in and out. You never know. So we don't know. Right, so Pluto in Aquarius, I think it's going to be the beginning of massive transformation for humanity. And as I said, with Pluto moving out of this retrograde, in and out, there could be a period of really opposing opinions as well. And I think this is going to cause some confrontation. On one hand, we have a weakening with Pluto retrograde motion. On the other, we may also experience some real intensity. So we've got a lot, we've got those periods of moving in and out, months at a time, but they are still there. And, if you are open to, the astrological energy, then you're going to feel it, and we're all going to feel it. So there will be challenges. Yeah, ultimately, I think Pluto is going to transform everything, anything inwardly or outwardly that needs to be transformed. So that Scorpio energy is transmutational energy. Don't forget that shape-shifting energy. So the lunar nodes also leave Taurus and Scorpio for Aries and Libra from the 18th, 19th of 2023 to December 24. All right, so we know that. We talked about it. Goes into Aries. Goes into Aries and Libra, and leaves Taurus and Scorpio. So yeah, bear that in mind as well. So Uranus in Taurus, guys, right? Scorpio is ruled by Pluto. He's making moves. So think about it if you think about the math there. So interesting. So it is difficult to ascertain, I think, how this is going to play out with the global arena, with that Moria energy. It's going to be tricky. All right, so Warrior Mars in Cancer, as I said, heated emotion, cries for justice, can be feelings of oppression, certainly. As I said, Mars in Cancer can give us a degree of victimization, right? And we can be quite combative when we want to defend ourselves, all right? So it is that warrior energy, and again, it is a difficult one. All right, so let's see what happens. Again, sorry, I'm just looking at my notes. We would much prefer peaceful and balanced resolution, would we not? But how this plays out is anyone's guess. I'm interested to see what's happening late August. As I said, Mars into Libra. So let's just all hope for good things, guys. But yeah, there's going to be a lot of changes, and obviously, and people say to me, oh, what's that going to mean for me? When I do the readings, the tarot pieces, guys, they are generalised readings. I do have a little glance at the astrology, see how things are panning for you on that month, but all the cards that come out, that's that spirit that bring those out. So we adapt and we tell the story from those cards. So I hope you've enjoyed it today. Again, apologies, it's a day late. I am going to be working with the US later on today, so given the timeline, so no rest for the wicked. It's great. So obviously now I'm back in the UK. I am going to be working again, so if you do want to get in touch with me, please do. I work online only, guys. I don't work in house, and I don't do group work anymore. Too old for that. So I just wanted to say thanks for your continued support of my work. If you do want to buy some of my very political and satirical t-shirts, please check out ascenti.co.uk. I'm going to put a link at the bottom. And if you want to come in for a personal reading, you can either get me through the website, fill in the submission form if you are interested, and if you're out the UK, if you're Europe based or US, UK, Australia, please do that. I work for most parts of the world, so if you want to get in touch, please do. And in the meantime, please keep clicking like and subscribe and share, please, because it does help the energy and the algorithm, right? All that tech, which I do not understand, but it does help me. So I appreciate it. Take it easy, guys. God bless. Bye now.